Hi everyone, today is August 15, 2020. This is the Duel Assessment, your podcast for Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. My name is Green Ranger. This is a pretty chill week in Duel Links. Coming back off the nerfs from Witchcrafters. That was the main topic last week, but looking at some of the tournament lists afterwards. The main event this week is DD Castle Siege, so not too much to unpack from that event, but we're going to talk about some leftover things, Ranked Duels update, pick a gift campaign, but really, even though the DD Castle was the main event, in the game itself, there was a leak of Xyz. Not really a leak, a teaser, Easter egg, hype, ad, whatever you want to call it, of Xyz. So I kind of framed that into my question of the week, into asking the community what Xyz everyone is expecting first or whatever. And I'm going to take a look at those Xyz because I am not familiar with what Xyz are. I had to go watch the tutorial. So just before I begin, this is episode 179 of the Duel Assessment Podcast. I've been doing this for 3.5 years. I think last year and a half without Deck Tech. And yeah, just if you like this podcast, if this podcast has made a difference to anything in your life, your entertainment, has helped you, dueled, helped you in the game in any way, please subscribe, tell your friends. As you all know, I just do this for myself, because I always play the game, so I haven't really stopped playing the game, despite the highs and the lows. But it's a one-man effort, and any bit of help is much appreciated. So, in my week in Duel World, I've actually been suffering from exhaustion, like physical exhaustion, and that has affected me in all ways of life, including gaming. It's not like I stopped Duel Links for another game. I'm not cheating on Duel Links. I'm just not playing mini games in general. And I'm at night. I turn on the Duel Links for a few ranked games. I'm auto-dueling on the train for the event, so I don't know if that counts, but in terms of ranked duels, I'm playing a little bit at night, and I just get tired, and I'm done. Like, I sleep earlier than I did last few weeks, so that has been affecting me, and yeah, it's just an overall lack of energy. It's not really anything. I have been complaining about the Witchcrafter nerf, but I'm still playing the deck. I'm playing various versions of the deck pre-nerfed. The nerf is not active yet, but I'm just playing it with the nerfs in advance. I don't see a point in hitting King of Games right now with 3 holidays and 3 Charge of the Light Brigade, because that's it's not a challenge. If I don't hit King of Games, so be it. But I want to do it with the nerfs in place. And I'm trying out different ones. I reached Legend 4 at some point. I'm not sure if I'm there again. I'm definitely Legend 3, but at some point I deranked all the way down to Legend 1. I thought about giving up the deck entirely until I was inspired by one of the tournament deck lists. Let's talk about esports with that transition to tournament deck lists. MCS, Duel Links Meta Championship Series 33 happened last Saturday, so it was a whole week already. First place, Edu16, one of the best players in the world. Sorcery, Conduit, Element, Saber, Invoked. So, not much has changed from the deck. They were last hit by that Malo nerf that put it as a limit 1. So, no Malo. We haven't really seen that card since the nerf. And it's just what's changed in Element Sabers is the back row. There's always the constant 3 Alistair, 3 Malehu, 1 Lapoya, 1 Nalu, and 3 of the field spell, 2 of the invocation. The back row is what's evolving. 3 Fiendish Chain, 1 Karma Cut. Those are the pay-to-win traps, if you will. Selection box only. Ballista Squad works for the deck. 2 Paleozoiconadia. Get you a water attribute sometimes. And Wall of D. Wall of D is a card to look out for. It's not a new card by any means. It was released almost 3 years ago from Servant of Kings, which seems to be a pretty good box. And it was always like the really good trap card to put in during the battle phase. But then we moved away from battle phase traps because of various effects that negated them. And now we're back. You're going to see a lot of decks this week with Wall of D. Wall of D just works great with Purgatrio. Second place Kid main Switcheroo Invoked Neos. Invoked Neos, I'm not sure if they've overtaken Element Sabers. I would say they have overtaken Element Sabers. But, yeah, they don't play Magellanic. They don't have Earth attribute, so nothing special about the deck. 3 Alistair, 3 Keeper of Dragon Magic, 3 Volcanic Shells, Neos, 2 Invocation, 2 Neos Fusion is kind of what you use. And then the back row, 3 Paleozoiconadia, 2 Raigeki Break, 2 Karma Cuts, 1 Fusion Reserve. Top 4 Drizzle, Cyber Style, Cyber Dragon. Not dead yet. The notable thing about the Cyber Dragon deck is there are 2 copies of Offerings to the Doomed. This is a card that we see in various decks sometimes. It has made an appearance in Witchcrafters recently. Otherwise, Cyber Dragon's still the same. Nothing different about it. Top 4 Trap Dexter, Switcheroo, Invoked Neos. Yep. So all 3 out of 4 of these decks are Invoked decks. The maximum pay to win here: 2 Fiendish Chain, 3 Karma Cuts, 3 Ultimate Providence. Ultimate Providence is good in a deck with a full mix of monsters and spells. And I think negating the monster effects are more important than anything, but the spells are pretty good too against Invocation, as you can tell. Battle Phase 84. First place Prez 123 Switcheroo Invoked Neos. Looks the same. Ultimate Providence, Divine Wrath, good against those effects. Raigeki Break, Karma Cut. It also has the Transmigration Prophecy to combat graveyard usage. 2 Paleozoiconadia. We're seeing the best trap cards here in the meta. Second place, Alex 13 Balanced Dark Magician. Balanced Dark Magician started to become a thing now. After their nerf to Magician's Rod. Fewer spells, so they could put in some of those traps. You have to have your 3 Magician's Navigation. They chose the 2 Paleozoiconadia and Ultimate Providence. I'm sure they probably would use Karma Cut or something. Had it or something. Third, top 4 Necro level augmentation Shiranui. Yep, if you just had this type of deck build for a long time. Again, another back row deck. Not much to say about this. Top 4 Blue Boy Destiny Draw Invoked Element Saber. This is actually an interesting deck. You got your 3 Alistair, 2 Invocation, 3 Field Spell Palace of the Lords, 2 Malehu, 1 Lapoya, 1 Nalu. Now the rest. The trap cards, Divine Wrath, Fiendish Chain, 2 Bad Aims. That's not really Bad Aims are a really good card that's not really, popular. Like the Vogue trap. 1 Karma Cut, 1 Ultimate Providence. Then there's Lava Golem, and then there's Kiteroid. So Lava Golem and Kiteroid obviously are not very conventional cards in this type of deck. Lava Golem's good for removing threats that cannot be removed, if that makes any sense. So anything that can dodge and has protection, Lava Golem just clears them out. If they do get rid of Lava Golem, you just use it as a fire attribute for Purgatrio. Something like that. Duel Links Meta Weekly 137. This is the deck that brought me back to life. -1 Show of Nightmares, Lightsworn, Witchcrafter. So I was saying how they were dead. Not really dead, but they got nerfed too early. -1 goes out and wins first place in this tournament, so good on him. And they were the top deck in the top 32, 6 out of the top 32 decks, with relatively low representation. So -1's deck, what's notable about this deck is it runs 3 Galaxy Cyclones and 3 Night Beams. That's all you could say is special about this deck. But Night Beam is a revelation. Everyone was running Storm, including myself, and I guess Night Beam's just better. And I would say you would run this in the Show of Nightmares build rather than the Balance build. You're going to have, your better spell cards and then some trap cards. And this one doesn't really focus on the trap cards. It only has one of each for the Witchcrafter traps, but nothing like Raigeki Break or anything like that. 3 Night Beams, 3 Galaxy Cyclones. I only have 1 Galaxy Cyclone, so I've been playing this other version that has Nobleman of Extermination and then that Sky Striker Jammer card or whatever it's called. I figure it'll do the same thing in a funkier way. But this is a Witchcrafter deck just with those additions, and got first place. Second place, Lamp Posted Tie That Binds Ritual Beast. Ritual Beast got even scarier when you throw in those best trap cards. 2 Phoenix Chains, 2 Karma Cuts, 3 Wall of D's. I don't really remember what was in its place. They didn't run Econ. They may have ran like Cosmic Cyclones and things like that. But now, pretty scary deck. They stall a little bit with those 6 trap cards, and then they just go off and 1-turn kill. Top 4, Ethan 31 level augmentation Shiranui. This one uses Paleozoic Canadia, which isn't the most conventional, but it's an even level body, which works very well with their even leveled synchro plays, so that's really good for them. Wall of D again, you notice that in this deck. And top 4, David McGree. See you later. Evil Eye. Super clean deck list. 3 Medusa, 2 Basilius, 2 Evil Eye of Selene, 3 Evil Eye Domain Paradolia. It's a field spell. 3 Evil Eye of Gorgoneo, 2 Storms, 2 Treacherous Trap Hole, 3 Evil Eye Defeat. Yeah, they don't have a lot of room for tech cards. Storm seems to be one of their main uses, so Storm's kind of core. They just have 2 Treacherous Trap Hole. Evil Eye Defeat's a pretty good removal card itself. I think the See You Later is to help the I don't know what it's for. Medusa, maybe? I know Medusa's really good because she keeps her attack, even if the equipped spells are destroyed. But nice to see a deck like this. They are pretty tricky in ranked duels. I've faced them a few times in ranked duels now, and they usually get the best of me. So tier list update. This came out after the Witchcrafter nerf. Invoked Neos, or the Soul Tier 1 deck, has moved up. Blackwings got moved down to Tier 2, as did Witchcrafter for the nerf. Blue Eyes, Shiranui, and Element Sabers have been re-promoted. Element Saber and Invoked Neos are the invoked decks. They are they're pretty much dominating before that Duel Links meta weekly. Tier 3, we have a lot of stuff here. Cristrons, Dark Magicians, Guki, Ritual Beast, and Masked Heroes have been moved back up. They're playing a different version now. I think it's helping them. Infernities and Weather Painters have been moved off. So if you were building an Infernity deck, you could still hit King of Games with it. I'm sure it could still win a few tournaments, but the consistency probably isn't there. They are a fragile 1-turn kill deck. Fun deck, but you're going to have to cough up some gems to play it, because you have to buy the previous box for Coral Dragon. That's something, if you don't realize, that you have to do. You do get a bunch of free stuff, but you will have to buy that box for only one of the Infernity Archfiend, but you need 3 launchers to play that deck the best. And then that Coral Dragon, like I mentioned. Weather Painters, they're tricky. They have a lot of control. They bounce your stuff back to your hand repeatedly. I tried playing against it with Witchcrafters, and I was negating stuff. Sometimes right, sometimes wrong, and then I wound up losing. Yeah. Not too much to say about weather painters. Alright, let's move on. The main event this week in Duel Links is the DD Castle Siege. A few things to say about this event. It's kind of taking on those, I forget what they used to be called. DD Tower? Yeah, DD Tower. I always liked these events. They were just straight up PvE events. Not much to worry about of disconnecting or anything like that. There's some similarities to the previous event, which was the Duel Carnival. Both give really bad rewards. So, well, these, I can't say that. The old rewards, the Chaos Betrayer from the DD Castle Emergence is pretty good, actually. Cyber Angel Edaton is also a reward. So if you want extra copies of that card and don't have it, that's pretty good. But Dark City too, I guess. But the two new cards kind of suck. Not much to say about that. But in contrast to the Duel Carnival, this takes up no time at all. Like, I already got to whatever I need to get to this morning. Like, I didn't even get out of bed and I leveled up. That's how easy it was. And with the Duel Carnival, you're just like, your teammates aren't doing anything. You're playing PvP, and it's kind of annoying. So, two different events, both with bad rewards, bad new rewards, and one takes very little time, one takes a lot of time. So, I mean, that's the difference. And they did some kind of weird thing with the storyline this time, where the vampire hunter is whipping the tour guide. As the tour guide is the mascot of this podcast. I don't even know what the tour guide is. I don't think she's a vampire because vampires are zombies in Duel Links. I mean, in Yu-Gi-Oh! She looks like a vampire, but she's not. So she's a fiend, so I guess she's a demon. I don't know what the vampire hunter is doing. What they thought would happen if this storyline took off, but there's just a vampire hunter whipping the tour guide. That's the storyline. We still have to get through the last part, the last 8 floors, I believe. So, also, Duel Links meta says there are challenge floors, where if you beat the 7, 15, 22, and 30 of bosses in less than 10 turns, you get some gems. I hit the 70 gem. Actually, I lost that duel. I might have to go back because these are a lot of rewards. These are 180 gems overall if you do beat those bosses in 10 or less turns. That might actually require self-dueling over auto-dueling. Let's talk about these two not good cards. Darkness Destroyer, level 7, Dark Fiend, 2300, 1800. Cannot be special summoned. This card can attack twice during each battle phase. If it attacks defense, monster inflict piercing battle damage. So what kills this card is its no special summons. This is a 2 tribute monster as a level 7, 2300 attack. So it's pretty bad. It hits twice. It pierces. Those are both good things. But it's not enough to counteract that it can't be special summoned. Must require 2 tributes. So that's what hurts this card. No real point to this card. I don't think it's in an archetype. Let me look up this card. See if it has any synergy with anything. Very generic name to Darkness Destroyer. In the Darkness archetype. Not really anything though. Alright. That's it. Cocoon Veil, trap card. Activate by tributing 1 face of Chrysalis monster. This turn, any damage to a player caused by an effect becomes 0. Special summon 1 Neospatian monster written on the Chrysalis card. You tributed from your hand, deck, or either player's graveyard. So this is like a Neospatian archetype where they had those baby characters. So the Chrysalis monsters are the baby characters. You tribute it with this trap card, so that's 2 cards right there. You prevent burn damage, so it's an anti-burn card. Then you special summon the Neospatian from your deck, most likely hand, deck, or graveyard. Sure. Very irrelevant. All parts of this card is very irrelevant. Playing those Chrysalis monsters, Neospatian monsters, and being anti-burn. That's just nothing relevant is going on there. Yeah, not much to say. That's it. One thing I forgot to mention is that this event gives out a new playmat of Vampire's Domain, which I believe is one of the best card arts in the game. I did say that in a previous podcast. The Duel Links, I think the Duel Assessment Awards show or whatever episode that was, but I did say that this was my favorite card art, so thank you, Konami, for making it happen. We have a new game mat. Alright, so we're going to get to Ranked Duels update for August. I know it's been a while since August started. We're halfway through the month. But Malefic Force. Both of these cards are not cards. They're not OCG, TCG cards. They're both video game exclusive cards. They seem to be doing that a lot with Ranked Duels. Alright, this is in the UR slot. Malefic Force. Trap card. Target one Malefic monster you control. That monster is unaffected by your opponent's spell effects when it's face up on the field. So this is a trap card that gives them an immunity to opponent spell effects. So it's like an invisible equip spell. And that's not that bad. Because it doesn't take up the space on the zone. And it gives them that immunity for the whole duel. So that's, well, while it's still on the field. So that's great. If it gets flipped face down, I guess you lose those abilities. But what are you doing with spell effects? Like, how does that help you? The main thing is Econ, getting hit by Econ flipping you over, getting hit by Forbidden Lance. That's it, I think. There are some like stray, like a field spell or some kind of continuous, maybe a Dark Magic Circle. I guess this counters, that's pretty good. Yeah, this counters Dark Magic Circle, banishing your Malefic monster. So those are all those things that this card counters. This does not get countered by traps though. That's what kills this card. You know, all those decks we saw in the tournament lists, Karma Cuts, your Phoenix Chains, your Paleozoic Canadias, your Wall of D's, your Ultimate Providence, your Divine Wrath. This doesn't help you with any of that. So that's what hurts this card. It's nice to counter both, but that might make it a little too strong. Though the Malefic archetype has never taken off, so they could have used a card like that. I don't think... And they may have become busted, actually, if you have like a 4,000 beater who's immune to all spells and traps. So I guess that's a balance. You make it bad. You make the card bad so they don't become abused. Like Malefics would be pretty disgusting if they had full immunity to stuff. Next card is in the R ticket slot, Power Converter. Equip spell, equip only to a monster you control once per turn during your main phase 1. You can gain life points equal to half the attack of the equipped monster. If you do, the attack becomes 0 until the end of this turn, even if this card leaves the field. This is a continual life point gain equip spell. It's kind of weird. And gaining life points is good for arrow mages primarily. Evil Eye lose life points, so they might like to gain some back. Stall decks and some more other decks. Making the monster have 0 attack is not good for arrow mages or Evil Eye. Evil Eye, for one, runs a lot of equip spells, so they can't really use more equip spells. But arrow mages and Evil Eye, they both like to make a turn. They're stally to a certain point until they beef their monsters up, and then they're pretty strong. So they like to become aggressive when they're ready. And this card will just damper that. So this is more of a stall card. Equip it to a monster that sticks onto the board and doesn't leave, but it's a clunky equip spell, and overall, probably not worth playing for any deck. I have a couple of repeated cards as well from the Pick a Gift campaign. These are the ones that kind of fill out the decks, fill out the playsets, I mean. Gravekeeper's Assailant, we're getting a second copy. We only have one, way back from when we unlocked the Xyz at the beginning of the game. Level 4 Gravekeeper, Dark Spellcaster, 15/15. When this card declares an attack while Necro Valley is on the field, you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls. Change that target's battle position. This was long overdue. We should have 3 copies of this card by now, but we have 2. A lifetime ago, when this game first started, this card was pretty solid. Gravekeepers were meta relevant even without a real Necro Valley. They had the Priestess as the Necro Valley, and she had to survive on the board. We're talking about primitive Duel Links here. So this guy could be like a 2000 attacker. We have Necro Valley, flips monsters to their weak side. So it's kind of like Aramage Rosemary. That's the best comparison to this card. Similar attack, flips them to their weak side. Yeah. Though at this point we do have a lot stronger Gravekeepers. They're more fusion based. They have the Quintet Magician, and they also have the Supernaturalist. So it's hard to say whether this card will ever even be played, but in the old battle position flipping thing that they did, it was a pretty solid card. And this other card we're getting a third copy of, and it was also meta relevant in the past. Order to Smash, trap card. Target 1 level 2 or lower non-token normal monster you control. Tribute that monster. If you do, destroy 2 spells or traps your opponent controls. Now, where was this used? This was part of Venus Shine Balls, because the mystical Shine Balls were level 2 normal monsters, and Venus turboed them out of the deck, I believe. So you would use this card to kind of clear their back row. Though at this point, this card does kind of like pay 2 to destroy 2, so there's like an even pay. I don't think you need 3 though, because we always got 2 from the rewards, and then the deck just died out from power creep and whatever. So the third copy of this was never really necessary. I suppose it could work because there's a lot of back row nowadays, but we're not really. No one's playing Mystical Shine Balls just because they got their third Order to Smash. Alright, so now it's time for the main event this week. Podcast Question of the Week and Xyz Impressions. So, this was in the Remote Duel Invitational for Latin America where they teased Xyz, and this got the community going. We're about to wrap up the Synchro era. Zexal World seems to be on its way. We should be playing with Zexal World by next month. Right after this KCGT wraps up. So my question was, what Xyz monsters do you expect to be released in Duel Links in the next month? What are some starter Xyz archetypes that would fit? And like I said before, I had no idea how to play Xyz, and I had to read a tutorial about it online. And I get that there are ranks, they're not levels. You overlay them, so the Xyz monsters has those 2 materials or more under them, and those materials are not counted as monsters or spells or anything like that. So they're kind of like, it's a new type of card. It's Xyz material. The monster could get flipped face down, and those materials are still on them. They're not considered part of the field when they're an Xyz material. There's a lot of rules to it, and like, you can't abuse a Sangan to get sent away because it's not on the field. If a Sangan is not an Xyz material, so there's a lot of rules to it. I'm gonna go through what everyone said, what Xyz monsters they like, and thanks to Yu-Gi-Oh! Neuron, an app by Konami, I'm gonna look up these cards. This is not a very lightweight app. It's like running Duel Links again, so I'm just doing it for the sake of advertising here. Alright, so Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck Talk, Doug Dimmadule, who provides you with weekly casual decks for the week, except for this week. He says Zoodiacs, that's all he said. So let's look up Zoodiacs. Alright, so I searched Zoodiac on the app, and then they let me filter some more. So I'm going to look for Xyz. Search. Alright, so from what I could tell, there's 6 Zoodiac Xyz cards. And some of these are not going to be ever in Duel Links. Zoodiac Borbo is 5 level 4 monsters, so that's a no for Duel Links. Zoodiac Trident is 4 level 4 monsters, that's out. And the rest are good. So Zoodiac Broad Bowl, let's see, 2 level 4s, question mark. You can also Xyz summon Broad Bowl by using a Zoodiac monster you control with a different name. This card gains attack and defense equal to the attack and defense of all Zoodiac monsters attached. So it's a question mark combination of 2 level 4s. Alright. Zoodiac Chakanine. It's also question mark. I guess all the Zoodiacs, they gain attack and defense equal to the materials. Chakanine's also 2 level 4s. They're kind of in the same boat. Hammer Kong is 3 level 4 monsters. That will be a bigger one, obviously, because it's 3 monsters. Tiger Mortar is 3 level 4s. So let's just look at the regular Zoodiacs without the Xyz. I guess they're all effect monsters. So I'll search that. Zoodiac Bunny Blast 800. Zoodiac Cataroost 800 1200. Zoodiac Ram 400 2000. Zoodiac Raptor 00. Thoroughblade 1600 Whiptails. Okay, so they're not particularly strong, so these Zoodiac monsters shouldn't have too much attack. Doug Dimmadule likes them. Average Gatsby says, finish Fire Fist, Bujin, and give us more wind-ups. Battlin Boxers and Utopia ZW for memes. Also buy Ruriraptors. There's a lot to dive into here. Pro Bench, I'll just go back to jump to Pro Bench Warmer. He says, finish the Fire Fist archetype, finish Noble Knights, give us some generic Xyz like Tornado Dragon. So just because they both asked for Fire Fist, I'll look that up. Using this handy app, Fire Fist, search, Xyz. There's only 3 of these, so 3 Fire Fist Xyz. There's Cardinal, 2 level 4 Fire Fists, 1800, 2200. You can detach 2 materials, target 2 Fire Fist formation cards in your graveyard or field, and 2 cards from your opponent's graveyard or face up in the field, shuffle into the deck. So, Cardinal's pretty strong. He lets you recycle 2 of your own cards, and then you remove 2 cards from the graveyard or on the field. So it's a lot of hard removal or graveyard removal for not too much attack. Fire Fist Lion Emperor is a 2 level 3 monster, 2200, 200, so high attack. You can detach 1 material from this card, target a fire monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. This one's not too bad. Cardinal seems kind of strong, but Lion Emperor seems about right. Tiger King is 2 level 4 Beast Warriors, 2200, 1800. When it's Xyz summoned, you can set a fire formation spell or trap directly from your deck. Once per turn, you can detach a material from this card and negate the effects of all face-up monsters on the field except for Beast Warriors. When this card is sent from the field to graveyard, you can send 3 fire formation traps you control to the graveyard. Actually, it was too long for that. That card's not too bad either because we already have Witchcrafters who negate effects, so that does the same thing. Alright, what else did he ask for? Bujins. So there's 4 Bujin Xyz. Amaterasu is 3 level 4s. Kagusuchi, 2 level 4s. Susanoo is 2 level 4s. Tsukuyomi is 2 level 4s. So Amaterasu, let's see. Target one of your banished level 4 or lower monsters, special summon the target. Okay. And this is just 3 monsters, 3 Bujins for 2600, 2500. Doesn't seem too strong. I guess if the Bujin monsters are using their effects, it could work out. Kagutsuchi. When it's XD summoned, send the 5 cards from your deck to the graveyard. Gains 100 attack for each Bujin. And then they get the effects off of all the Bujin beasts. What sucks about Neuron is you can't read the whole effect unless you click on the card. And XD's cards have a lot of effects. Susanoo. This card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once. Detach an XZs, take a Bujin monster from your deck, send it to the graveyard. Okay, that's not bad. That's a nice ability to use those abilities. And Tsukuyomi, I have to click on the card. Attach a material from this card, send your entire hand to the graveyard, draw 2. That's pretty strong. Alright, so those are Bujins, wind-ups, and average Gatsby asks for a lot. Wind up. Alright, so there's 4 wind-up XZs. They're all kosher for Duel Links because they don't take up too much space. Arsenal Zenmayo is 2 level 5s, 2600, 1900. Detach an XZs to target 2 set cards and destroy them. Pretty strong. It's pretty strong, but it's not like... I think you could counter it, right? Can you chain to this? I don't know if... Can you chain to this detach XZ's material? That's how you tell if this card's too strong or not. Carrier Zenmaidi. 2 level 3s, 15-15. Detach an XZ, special summon a wind up from your hand or deck. Okay. Zen mains, 2 level 3s, 1500, 2100. If this would be destroyed, detach an XZs instead. If this effect was used, target 1 card, destroy it. This is a nice card. Kind of stall control card. Zenmeister is 1900, 1500, 2 level 4s. Gains 300 attack for each XZs attached to it, so it's going to be like 2500. And target, you can detach an XZs, target a face-up monster you control, change that to face down. Okay, it's like a flipper. What else? Battlin Boxers. Hope I get this right. Is it Battling Boxer? I can't find it. Screw it. All right, I'm gonna. That's enough for average Gatsby. Kun 121, number 17, Leviair and Utopia. Wouldn't be surprised if they added Dante though. Let's look up number 17. Number 17 is Leviathan Dragon. 2 level 3 monsters, 2000 attack, 0 defense. Once per turn, you can detach an XZ's material from this card. This card gains 500 attack. If this card has no XZ's material, it cannot attack your opponent directly. Interesting. So this becomes like a 20... It's just a beater. Okay, I'm not... That can fly. That's not bad. Leviair. Hope I spelled right. Leviair the Sea Dragon. 2 level 3 monsters, 1800, 1600. Once per turn, you can detach a material from this card. Target 1 banished level 4 or lower monster, special summon it to your field. Okay. I'm okay with that. And Utopia. Everyone's talking about Utopia. I think it's an anime card. Like 39 or something? Yeah. Well, there's a lot of Utopia cards. So the original Utopia, 2 level 4 monsters, 2500 attack, 2000 defense. When a monster declares an attack, you can detach a material from this card and negate the attack. If this card is targeted for an attack while it has no material, destroy this card. Okay. This is a fair card. For such like a well-known card, it's pretty boring. Okay, let's talk a bench. Noble Knights. Oh, I like Noble Knights. There's 3 Noble Knight XZs. Artorigus, King of Noble Knights, 2 level 4s. Most of them are level 4, so that's good. 2000, 2000. When this is Xyz summoned, you can target 3 noble arms, equip spells with different names from your graveyard. Damn. Equip those cards to this card. Once per turn, you can detach an Xyz material, destroy any number of those spells or traps. Oh, destroy any number of spells or traps equal to the number of noble arms equipped spells. I can't tell if this is too good or not, but being able to get 3 noble arms equipped spells is pretty good. Sacred Noble Knight of King Archetypes. These names get a little clunky. 2 level 5s, so that's going to be difficult for this guy, because there aren't a ton of level 5s. It's like the, I have the Welsh name, I forgot what it's called. 2200, 2200. When this is Xyz summoned, you can target 3 noble arms in your graveyard, equip those. So it's the same ability. Once per turn, detach an Xyz from this card, target 1 monster in the field, destroy it. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, target a level 4, special summon it. Okay, so this is like a 1 control monster. So the first one hit back row, but it can hit like mass back row. This second one can target a monster. That's okay. We see that already. Sacred Noble Knight of King Custine. 1500, 2500. You can detach any number of materials from this card. Target that enemy cards your opponent controls. Return them to the hand. So this bounces stuff. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, special summon a Noble Knight Xyz from your extra deck. It seems pretty strong. We do have a lot of Noble Knights, though, and not too many Xyz. They might just drop in 1, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Branch also asked for a Tornado Dragon. 2 level 4 monsters, 2100, 2000. Once per turn, quick effect, detach material, target a spell or trap on the field, destroy it. Yep. This is kind of like the perfect starter Xyz monster, from what I could tell. Michael Murati ZZ. I hope for Raidraptor or Phantom Knight. Raidraptor. Okay, so we got 12 Raidraptors. I'm not going to read them all. Yeah, this is too much work. I mean, the Raidraptors, there's some that's like 2 level 7s. There's one that's like 3 level 12s. Like, how is this guy going to get on the field? Like, what's going to happen with this guy? He's not going to make it in Duel Links. 3 level 12s, come on. I know I have a lot of effects, so I can't really read them. Sorry. Phantom Knight. There's only 2 Phantom Knights. Cool. The Phantom Knight of Breaksword. 2 level 3s, 2000, 1000. Once per turn, you can detach a material from this card. Target 1 card you control and 1 card your opponent controls. Destroy them, okay? If this Xyz monster is destroyed, you can target 2 Phantom Knights with the same level in your graveyard. Special summon them, increase their levels by 1. Also, you can't special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except for Darks. Okay. Phantom Knights of Cursed Javelin. 2 level 2s, 1600, 0. You can detach a material from this card, target 1 face of monster your opponent controls until the end of its turn, change its attack to 0. It's kind of like Crimson Fox. If this is a quick effect, if this card has the Phantom Knights card as its material. Okay, this is not a bad card. We already have Crimson Fox, so it's not too strong. Mage of Ancients asked for Madolche. This is also very likely because we already have Madolche. There's 3 Madolche monsters. They're all kosher for Duel Links because they only take 2 each. This is Madolche Pudding Cesse Chocolat a la mode. It requires 2 level 5 Earth monsters, so that's very specific. 2500 attack, 2200 defense. Xyz summon this card by using a rank 4 or lower Madolche Xyz as material. Okay, so this one's interesting because you could use the Xyz as part of it, but then they gain the materials. So this card can get super stacked with materials. You could get like 4 No, three materials on it. If you use two Xyz monsters to make this, you'll have 4 materials. That's a lot of materials. Once per turn, you can target a Madolche in your graveyard, shuffle to the deck. That's what they do. While this card has pudding cess as material, when a Madolche card you in your graveyard is shuffled to the deck, you can detach material, special summon a Madolche in your deck in attack or defense. It's like a master facilitator of shuffling cards from the graveyard to the deck, special summon from the deck. Here is Queen Tiramisu. 2 level 4 Madolches, 2200 attack, 2100 defense. Once per turn, detach an Xyz from this card. Target 2 Madolches in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck. Also, shuffle cards your opponent controls into the deck up to the number of Madolches returned. Pretty strong. It might become like tier 1 if this is a card. Glass Souffle. 2 level 4 Madolche, 1800, 2500. Quick effect, detach material from this card. Target 1 Madolche monster on the field. This turn, that face-up monster is unaffected by monster effects except for its own. If a Madolche monster card is sent to the graveyard while this is on the field, you can shuffle 2 cards from the graveyards into the decks. So this counters kind of like graveyard effects. Man, I think I might need to get those old Madolche cards with my extra gems now. I might need to abandon my search for Coral Dragon. Finally, Fredbird 10. He wants Dark Rebellion Dark. He also wants Utopia, but I already talked about that. Oh, let's see, search. Let's go look up Dark Rebellion. I don't think Dark Rebellion Dark is a card. Alright, so we got 3 Dark Rebellion Xyz. Let's go through them. One of them is not going to fly because it's a pendulum monster. So Supreme King Dragon Dark Rebellion's out. Here's Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. That's kind of a dumb name because it's like the name of it is already in it. It's like if Stardust Dragon was called Stardust Dragon Synchro. But anyways, 2 level 4 monsters, 2500, 2000. You can detach 2 materials from this card, then target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Its attack becomes half its attack. This card gains. Oh wow, this is pretty good. It's like this card like gains like Ryoku on the opponent. But it's a battle step, so we've seen worse. Alexander becomes like a 6000, so we've seen worse. Dark Requiem Xyz Dragon. 3 level 5s, 3000, 2500. There's a lot of effects. If this card has Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon as the material, it gains these effects. Once per turn, detach a material, target a face-up, it changes its attack to 0. This card gains attack. Wow, okay, so yeah, same thing where it siphons the attack away. When your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, detach a material, negate the activation, destroy its special summon Xyz. Okay. These cards are pretty good, but they're all dependent on battle, so they can be countered. They're not too strong, I think. All right, so that was my exploration of Xyz monsters with the community. I learned a lot. This kind of helps you. I guess that comment about me buying Madolche cards is kind of premature because I'm like expecting Madolches, but you know, Konami could just pull some trick and they don't give us any Madolches. So, you know, buy at your own caution, but do know that if you have max gems, those gems do expire in a month. So if you have to use gems for that purpose, then go ahead. But I'm kind of hyped for Xyz. I'm gonna lose a ton of games because I don't know how to play them. But hey, we're gonna get a new world. We're gonna get. You know what I'm disappointed by? No one told me what Xyz we're gonna get for free from Zexal World. Like, I have no idea. I think, well, some of the ones they mentioned, that probably Utopia will get one for free, I think, because Utopia is an anime card. But if you know, like, the main characters in Zexal, you know which ones we're gonna get for free, right? Like, so no one told me those. I'm sure we're gonna get those cards, but like, I don't think anyone mains Madolche in the Zexal anime. I could be wrong, but anyways, Thanks for the community for contributing to the podcast question of the week. It was fun looking through all those Xyz monsters for my first impressions on them. Alright, upcoming news. Duel Quests. I don't know what we're getting from Duel Quest. Tag Duel Tournament. New UR card Star Blast. SR Sacred Defense Barrier. Mission Circuit. Raid Duel Dimensional Disaster. We get Igami finally. That should be next week, right? No, wait. That's going to be the week after. So next week's going to be a Tag Duel. And then the week after, before the tournament, during the tournament, also is Igami. And then the KCGT main tournament, August 29th. That is it for the podcast. Thank you very much for listening to the Duel Assessment. Subscribe, listen anywhere. All these notes are going to be on the duelassessment.wordpress.com. Email me with anything at the duelassessment@gmail.com and find me on Twitter, duel_assessment. Alright, thanks. See you next time.